In this video, I want to take a few minutes, just kind of close the loop on this prompt that we had been given this past Friday, and be able to show you the clean and expected way to be able to handle the data. In terms of this, there were a lot of things that we have already dealt with so far. However, there were, I guess you could say pretty much one new thing on how we had to kind of handle this. So I'm going to be keeping that in mind as I'm going through grading these quizzes. Don't be worried too much. But anyways, in terms of this, we had this data, which is the shark data, right? And so we ended up saying this was for the park names. So we had Point Reyes, and then also with this filter, if I scroll down enough, we could end up saying there's also the Golden Gate National Recreational Area as well. Now, as we are kind of just checking this out, we also have the start year, or start date, and then end date. So those are the years there. And then we also end up having, as we're moving through this, we eventually come into the shark bite column. And so this is telling us how many shark bites there were. What we're also going to end up looking at too is the site name as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get ready to begin. Now, some things that we've already seen and practiced that I want to end up mentioning is we have gone through and obviously been using Pandas and Matplot lib. So we can go ahead and import these guys. And then we want to make sure that we got PyPlot, SPLT here. The other thing that we've also seen in practice already is creating a data frame. So we can do pd.readCSV, not read clipboard, CSV. And then what we can end up doing is we can take this and then we can end up copying a relative path. I can toss that in here. The other thing that we can also end up doing, now this is something that is just optional, but I also want to mention, low memory equals false. You can also do that. However, it is not mandatory. But that is something that kind of helps out with our data frame. But anyways, what we can also end up doing is create a tax data frame. And what I want to do is I just want to filter the data to keep just rows with at least 1 byte, right? And so we talked about how we can end up filtering data sets or data frames by using our logic operators. And so I can go into the df of shark bite, right? And so it should be the case that we should only be using the values that are greater than 0 in there. And so as you can see, if we go back into here, for instance, if I go to the shark bite, you'll see that there are some of these columns that they have nothing. And so we could end up filtering that data out. That's basically what we're doing here. Just filtering it so that if it's greater than 0, okay, perfect. We're going to keep that for our attacks. What we can also end up doing is the sites. So we can go in here and we can reference the attacks data frame. I can end up referencing the site name, and then we can end up using the .unique. And so this is something that we ended up using in our EV electric vehicle bellwork example. So this ends up getting us all the unique sites. Now, what I can also do is I can save site names into a list. I can also end up saving total bytes into a list. And why I'm doing that is because that's the data that we're going to end up having to graph out, right? Just as they say in our actual prompt here, they want us to have the shark attacks in each park, right? Or each site. And so we can end up going through here. And then so now we can end up going for site and sites. So we're just going to iterate through this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look at the sites data frame. We're going to create that data frame for that site. And so we can end up looking at the attacks data frame. And what I want to end up doing is within that attacks data frame, I want to filter by the site name, right? So I can end up putting in here, for instance, if I just wanted to get the site data for, like, let's scroll over here. For instance, if I just want to get the site data for Drake's Estero, right, then I would put in there that literal string, right, Drake's Estero. However, the way that we have this set up, it's going to be all the unique sites here, right? And so instead of putting in a literal string there, I'm going to be using a site because that is what we're iterating through, right, all the sites. And so this is going to get the individual sites information. And then from there, now I can end up find the number of bytes at the site. And so now this is where, you could go through different methods of doing this. One of the best ways, if you were looking at the documentation, you could have ended up using the shark bite.sum. Now, could you end up using a for loop for this too, also iterating through each of those values within the site data frame and then adding up bytes? Yes, you could have done that too, but this is just a way to kind of streamline that. And so now what we could do next is we could do site names dot append, and then we're going to append that site. And then also what we're going to do is we're going to do the total bytes dot append, and then we're going to append the bytes. Okay. So now that is the basics of just how we ended up getting our data to be able to graph it out. So this is just a fancier way to get all the values to be descending. So what I'm going to end up doing you don't even have to do this. This is optional. So I'm going to put in there optional. Okay. But this is just another way just to, kind of give you a new thing that you can end up using too. So summary data frame equals, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new data frame in here using Pandas. And then what I can end up tossing in there is going to be the site name. And so this can be site name, site names. So just so we talked about, this is a dictionary here, right? And then we can go total bytes. And then now I can end up setting that to be total bytes here too. Okay. So then now, why did I end up doing this? It is so that I could end up setting this up as ascending. So I can go summary df equals summary df dot sort values. So I can end up using that. And then I can look at this by the total bytes. And then what we can do is we can set ascending to be equal to false. And so we use the sort values function already. This is something that, you could end up not including in here, right? But I'm going to set it up so that it is not ascending. Instead, it's going to be descending values. But anyways, now what I could do is I could just print out our summary data frame. And so now we can end up running this. And so as you can see, this is setting it up so that we have it descending. Now, if I take this out, just like we were using just sort values, let's go ahead and print that out and see what it's got now. So I think it's just going to be the case if you use sort values. Okay, great. It's set up like this. Now, if we didn't do this step though right here, totally fine too. I mean, we've got our data frame. It's just the data isn't sorted right. So I'm just doing this optional method to actually make it look a little bit better. But anyways, so then now what we can do is we need to actually graph out the data. And so I can end up going plt.var. And then what we can do is we can go summary data frame, and then I can end up going to the site name. I can put this in as a string here, site name. And then what we can also end up doing is have the summary data frame, and then I can call the total bytes, right? Now, could you end up just passing in the list that we created previously, right, where it's site names, total bytes? Yeah, you could, but we're just setting it up like this. So then now, what we could end up doing is plt.xlabel. And so this is definitely like exactly what everybody should have, right? Because we've definitely practiced this a lot. plt.ylabel, and then we got total shark bytes in here. And then in terms of the title, we can do plt.title, and then total shark bytes by site. And then now what I also want to end up doing is plt.xticks. And so we talked about this xticks. I can set the rotation to be equal to 45. And then we can also set the horizontal alignment to be to the right, which we also talked about. And then I can also do plt.type layout. Remember, that always makes it look really fancy or a whole lot better because it ends up compacting everything and make sure that our titles show up correctly and everything, right? And then we've got to do plt.show, which will actually make our graph show up. And so now if we run this, you can end up seeing this is what we've got, right? Now it is the case where it is ascending. And so even if, you have something that's close to this, you'll be getting the majority of the points. Now, could you go through and for each actual park, create a graph as well? Yes, but if you guys have this, even where it's just all the sites, you're absolutely going to be totally good. Does it have to be ascending? No. Does it have to be descending? No. As long as it's graphed out. So for instance, if I just take out this, I don't even have it sorted, let's say, that's what it would end up looking like as well, right? And so you can see for each site the amount of shark attacks. Now, what we can find from this data is where a majority of the shark attacks are occurring. And so double point, there's a whole lot of shark attacks occurring there. One of the things that we would want to end up looking at is just, if there's a significant spike at double point as well as Point Bonita, one of the questions that I'm having, was the data collected within the same time frame? For instance, did double point start having extra years where the data was collected? Maybe these other sites were created after double point and also after Point Bonita. There's just some questions that we want to be asking ourselves too as we're looking at the shark data. And so you could pop into the CSV, and kind of get an idea for that. But that's almost for the reflection. That's one of the things you could have ended up mentioning about this. But anyways, so hope that was helpful. The biggest thing that we just have not encountered yet for this prompt was the dot sum. And so that's the new thing here is using dot sum. Now, however, could you end up using the for loops to actually find the sum of the bytes for each site? Yes, you could, right? We could use another for loop. So it'd be a nested for loop in here. And so I think that that's the majority of it. It was just applying a for loop to this code using Pandas. I think is where, if you did end up struggling, that's probably where it was at. But anyways, hope this video was helpful. I'll catch you all in the next video.